The Colony Police Department just released this body cam footage of a traffic stop that led to the DWI arrest of Dallas Cowboys safety Damontae Kazee.
You took that right turn onto the service road?
Yeah.
You were like squirreling all over the place, dude.
Nah, I wasn't squirreling. It was just up, man. I'm not used to these streets right now.
The stop happened overnight in late October off State Highway 121. Kazee, who was in his first season with the Cowboys, said he'd been celebrating what he called rookie night with teammates.
Where were you coming from, dude?
Man, I was just with Ezekiel, Elliot, and Prescot, man. We just having fun.
An officer is heard asking Kazee if he'd consumed alcohol that night, and he admitted he had.
I didn't have a lot. Like, honestly, we just having fun right now. Just 5-1, we just having fun.
I gotcha. How much is not a lot?
Probably like 3 shots.
3 shots? When was that at?
Earlier today.
The officer then conducted a field sobriety test in which Kazee is seen having trouble performing some of the tasks.
2019, 2020, 2021, 2022.
He's then placed under arrest.
So, Damontae, you're being placed under arrest for driving while intoxicated, okay? You just have a seat back there?
The Dallas Cowboys declined to comment on Kazee's arrest the next day. He made bail and went on to play with the team in their latest game against the Raiders on Thanksgiving Day.
To fix the power grid, you have to know what failed, and these reports are giving us new insight into how Texas froze. Federal regulators found protecting just 4 types of power plant components from icing and freezing could have reduced outages by 67%. A new law signed in the wake of the storm now requires energy providers to weatherize critical equipment.
I'm extremely confident that the power grid is stable and resilient and reliable.
Last week, Governor Greg Abbott praised the work ERCOT's done to improve the grid.
And now they are proactive as opposed to reactive.
But ERCOT's own winter forecast shows the grid's only ready for a typical winter, not a big storm like we experienced this year. The report is written for energy providers so they can plan ahead. ERCOT plans to have more than 84,000 megawatts available this winter, but their forecasting will just need 62,000. During the big freeze, demand would have hit about 76,000. That is, if all equipment had been working. The governor promises energy providers are on the ball.
Today already, there is winterization of all power generation facilities in the state of Texas.
A promise shrouded in controversy. The new law passed by lawmakers and signed by the governor included a loophole. Energy companies could avoid millions of dollars in fines and opt out of weatherization by declaring their equipment not critical to the grid for just $150.
Texas will come to order.
This week, the Railroad Commission, which oversees oil and gas in Texas, did some damage control, passing new rules to tighten that loophole and put providers into categories. The first group is supercritical, equipment that can't opt out of weatherization. The second group is so low volume, it's not critical. The equipment might actually use more power than it contributes. The third group falls in between. They can apply to opt out, but must submit proof, and their application can be denied.
It is not simply a get out of jail free card.
A step in the right direction, says energy consultant Doug Lewin from Austin.
So when these gas suppliers now register as critical infrastructure, that puts them onto a list so they will not be cut off by the utilities in future storms.
Here's the bad news. Companies won't be required to actually weatherize until next year.
If we have the same weather we had last winter, we will likely have outages.
Meantime, Commissioner Jim Wright from South Texas called on natural gas companies to do a better job storing power, something he says they just didn't do enough last winter.
One thing I can say and tell you with certainty, if you want to eat a Chick-fil-A sandwich on Sunday, you're going to need to buy it in advance. The same is true for natural gas.
Starting this month, ERCOT will inspect every generating unit that failed in February to make sure it's good to go.
Travelers are once again zooming past the ticket counter and heading straight to security after COVID hit the travel industry hard.
Just delays and cancellations and whatnot. It's been a little hectic, but obviously there's still a bit of a backlash from COVID going on.
And just as many of you are getting used to traveling again,
I'm coming from Buffalo, New York.
I just returned from Paris yesterday.
I came from Phoenix. Phoenix airport was packed.
I'm going to Japan.
President Biden today shared his plan to fight the newest COVID variant, Omicron, which we know is already in the U.S.
Announcing today that all inbound international travelers must test within 1 day of departure, regardless of their vaccination status or nationality.
An aggressive approach, shrinking the testing window from the previous 72 hours to just 24.
Is it prudent to announce these travel restrictions during the holiday season, though?
Well, we don't know what Omicron is going to bring. If it's for public health and to better everybody's exposure, then I think it absolutely is.
I just think they're just trying to keep as many people within their homes as they can. I don't agree with it.
It will be difficult, to be honest with you, because I mean, I don't go for business to do COVID tests. I go for business to business. So basically it takes a lot of my valuable time away.
You just have to add budget money to it because it's expensive to get a rapid test like that.
Travelers say these new requirements won't stop them from traveling and that they're focusing on the silver lining.
The good news is that they did not change that from a rapid test to a PCR test. So the rapid tests are both fast, but they're also less expensive.
But as the holiday season kicks off, they do warn you to be prepared and plan ahead.
Look in advance before leaving home where those pharmacies are. If you've got plans within those 24 hours, you're going to have to do some shuffling around to get those tests done.
Travelers recommend getting to the airport early with passport, vaccine, and results handy because these requirements go into effect Monday. On top of that, you're still going to have to wear one of these, a mask, on trains, airplanes, and public transportation because the mask mandate was also extended through mid-March.